The message came on an ordinary Tuesday morning. Every screen on Earth, phones, computers, televisions, even digital billboards, flickered to life simultaneously, displaying the same haunting transmission. The aliens called themselves the Dominion, and their message was simple: submit or die. Captain James Walker stood at the United Earth Defense Command Center, his weathered face illuminated by the strategic holographic display. Around him, military leaders from every nation watched in stunned silence as the massive alien fleet appeared at the edge of their solar system. Initial scans showed over 3,000 warships, each one larger than the biggest aircraft carrier ever built on Earth. "They're giving us 48 hours to surrender," General Thompson announced, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "Their technology appears to be centuries ahead of ours." But what the Dominion couldn't understand, was humanity's most defining characteristic: their absolute refusal to bow down to tyranny. Within hours, ancient rivalries between nations melted away. For the first time in human history, every country united under a single banner. Emergency protocols were activated worldwide, and humanity's greatest minds were gathered in underground facilities across the globe. Dr. Lisa Reed, head of quantum weapons research, had been preparing for this day her entire life. Not because she expected aliens, but because she believed humanity needed a last-resort defense system. Her theoretical work on dimensional displacement weapons had been dismissed as too dangerous, too unstable. Now, it was their only hope. In the depths of the Rocky Mountain complex, she worked tirelessly with her international team. They had a secret weapon, Project Phoenix, an experimental technology that could potentially turn the fabric of space itself into a weapon. It was untested, unstable, and might destroy them all. But facing extinction, humanity had nothing left to lose. The Dominion's ultimatum ticked down, but Earth wasn't preparing to surrender. Instead, military bases worldwide began activating long-dormant prototype weapons. Orbital defense platforms, hidden in plain sight as communications satellites, powered up their cores. Underground factories that had been manufacturing in secret for decades began moving their products to the surface. Captain Walker coordinated with resistance cells being established on every continent. If the initial defense failed, humanity would not go quietly. They would fight street by street, city by city, planet-wide if necessary. As the deadline approached, Dr. Reed made a breakthrough. The quantum field equations finally balanced. Project Phoenix wasn't just theoretical anymore, it was ready for deployment. The weapon would create a cascading reaction in space-time itself, targeting anything with the specific quantum signature of Dominion technology. The aliens had made a crucial mistake. They assumed that because their technology was superior, victory was assured. They didn't realize that humanity's greatest advances came when its back was against the wall. They didn't understand that humans had spent their entire history fighting against overwhelming odds. In the final hours before the deadline, Earth's leaders made their decision. They would not respond to the Dominion's message. They would not negotiate. They would not surrender. Instead, they prepared their counterstrike. As Project Phoenix was loaded into delivery systems worldwide, Captain Walker sent out a simple message to all Earth's defense forces: remember Thermopylae. The Dominion fleet approached, confident in their superior numbers and technology. They had conquered 1,000 worlds this way. Earth would be no different. They were wrong. The clock struck 0, and humanity revealed just how terrible they could be when fighting for survival. The war for Earth was about to begin, and the aliens were about to learn why humans were the apex predators of their world. The Dominion's first attack came from orbit. Their energy weapons carved glowing lines across Earth's atmosphere, targeting major military installations. But they found nothing but empty buildings and automated defenses. Humanity had already gone underground. Captain Walker watched from the command bunker as the alien ships entered the atmosphere. "Activate Defense Protocol Alpha," he ordered. Across the globe, thousands of hidden anti-orbital batteries emerged from their camouflaged positions. The aliens had expected primitive missile technology. Instead, they faced concentrated plasma beams, reverse-engineered from a crashed scout ship decades ago. 12 Dominion warships fell in the first volley, their shields useless against weapons built from their own technology. The aliens responded with overwhelming force, unleashing their full arsenal. Cities burned, but the underground bunkers held. This was exactly what humanity had prepared for. Dr. Reed's voice crackled over the secure channel. Project Phoenix is ready for deployment. But sir, you need to understand something. Once we activate it, there's no going back. The quantum cascade will spread through their entire fleet. What about civilian casualties? General Thompson asked, her hands gripping the tactical display. The weapon only targets their quantum signature. Human technology will be unaffected. But Dr. Reed hesitated. We don't know if they have prisoners. Anyone aboard their ships when Phoenix activates will be caught in the reaction. The decision weighed heavily on the command staff. The Dominion had already destroyed several major cities. Billions of lives hung in the balance. But launching Project Phoenix meant potentially sacrificing any humans the aliens had captured. Walker looked at the casualty reports flooding his screen. We're out of time. Deploy Phoenix. Across the planet, hidden quantum transmitters powered up. The weapon didn't need missiles or carriers. It would spread through space itself, using the Dominion's own quantum communications network against them. The alien commander, watching from his flagship, noticed something strange. His sensors detected an unusual energy pattern, spreading like a web between his ships. But by the time he understood what was happening, it was too late. Project Phoenix activated. A cascade of quantum energy rippled across the sky. Dominion ships began to dissolve, their matter being pulled apart at the subatomic level. Their supposedly invincible fleet was being unmade by the very fabric of spacetime. The alien commander sent a desperate transmission to his homeworld. The message was clear: these humans weren't primitive savages. They were something far more dangerous. They had taken Dominion technology and turned it into something terrifying. From his command center, Walker watched as Project Phoenix devastated the invasion fleet. Send the message, he ordered. Every surviving alien ship received the transmission: you came to our world, threatened our people, and expected us to kneel. This is humanity's response. We will not surrender. We will not negotiate. Retreat now, or face extinction. The remaining Dominion ships fled, their retreat covered by the dissolving remains of their fleet. But humanity wasn't finished. Project Phoenix had worked better than anyone expected. The quantum cascade was following the aliens through their own faster-than-light corridors, spreading to every ship that had ever connected to their network. Dr. Reed's voice was grim as she reported the weapon's effect. It's not just destroying their ships. The cascade is spreading through their entire empire. Every piece of Dominion technology is being affected. They won't be able to stop it. The war had lasted less than 24 hours. Humanity hadn't just defeated the invasion, they had broken the back of an interstellar empire. The message to the galaxy was clear: Earth was not to be trifled with. But as the adrenaline of victory faded, a sobering reality set in. Humanity had just made its presence known to the galaxy in the most dramatic way possible. And there would be consequences. 3 days after humanity's devastating counterattack, the true scope of their victory became clear. The quantum cascade had spread through the Dominion's vast network of worlds, destroying not just their military technology, but the foundation of their entire civilization. Captain Walker stood in the newly established Galactic Communications Center, watching as reports flooded in from deep space monitoring stations. The Dominion's empire, spanning hundreds of worlds, had collapsed in less than 72 hours. Billions of aliens were stranded on their colonies, their transportation and communication networks destroyed. "We didn't just defeat them," Dr. Reed said, her face pale as she studied the data. "We sent them back to their pre-industrial age. Every piece of advanced technology they owned is gone." She paused, looking at the casualty estimates. "The death toll, it's in the billions." General Thompson entered the room, carrying new intelligence reports. "We're picking up transmissions from other alien species. The Dominion wasn't the only advanced civilization out there. And they're all talking about us now." The room fell silent as they played the intercepted alien communications. Some species were celebrating the Dominion's fall. They had been victims of the Empire's expansion for centuries. Others were terrified. Humanity had gone from an unknown primitive species to the most feared race in the galaxy overnight. "They're calling us the World Breakers," Walker said, reading the translations. "Some of these species think we're going to be worse than the Dominion." Dr. Reed's team had discovered something even more significant. The quantum cascade was still spreading, following ancient trade routes and communication networks. Any civilization that had ever done business with the Dominion was at risk of losing their technology. "We need to find a way to stop it," Dr. Reed insisted. "The cascade is indiscriminate now. It's affecting innocent worlds that never threatened us." The United Earth Defense Command convened an emergency session. Humanity had survived, but their victory had come at a terrible cost. They were now responsible for the largest humanitarian crisis in galactic history. Walker proposed a bold plan. "We still have our ships, our technology. We're the only spacefaring civilization left in this sector that can reach these stranded colonies. We have a choice to make. We can either hide behind our defenses and let them suffer, or we can help them." The debate raged for hours. Some argued that showing mercy would make humanity look weak. Others believed they had a moral obligation to help, if only to prevent the complete collapse of galactic civilization. Finally, Earth's leaders reached a decision. They would launch a massive relief effort, using their untouched technology to provide aid to the affected worlds. But there would be conditions. "Send the message to all worlds," General Thompson ordered. "Earth is offering humanitarian assistance to any civilization that agrees to our terms. First, permanent peace with humanity. Second, cooperation in establishing a new galactic council, one that prevents any empire from threatening peaceful worlds again." The response was immediate. Desperate worlds began accepting Earth's terms within hours. Former Dominion colonies, cut off from their homeworld, pledged allegiance to the new human-led coalition. But not everyone was happy with this turn of events. In the far reaches of space, other empires watched with growing concern. Humanity hadn't just defeated the Dominion, they had reshaped the balance of power in the galaxy. And some were already plotting to ensure that humans never got the chance to use their terrible weapon again. As Captain Walker coordinated the first relief missions, Dr. Reed made a disturbing discovery. The quantum cascade wasn't just destroying technology, it was changing the fundamental structure of spacetime in the affected regions. And these changes were spreading, creating phenomena that defied the laws of physics. They had won the war, but the true consequences of their victory were only beginning to emerge. 2 weeks after the deployment of Project Phoenix, the first reports of spatial anomalies began flooding the Earth Defense Command. Regions of space where Dominion technology had been destroyed were transforming into something impossible, areas where the laws of physics simply stopped working. Captain Walker watched the holographic display as another void zone appeared, this one consuming an entire solar system. "Dr. Reed, what exactly are we looking at?" Dr. Reed manipulated the display, highlighting the spreading darkness. "We're calling them void zones. The quantum cascade didn't just destroy their technology, it created tears in spacetime itself. These tears are growing, merging, creating regions where our universe's laws don't apply." General Thompson pointed to a cluster of red markers. We've lost contact with 3 relief missions in the past day alone. Ships that enter these void zones don't come back. It's like they never existed. The situation was deteriorating rapidly. The void zones were expanding exponentially, consuming more space with each passing hour. Worse, they seemed to be attracted to concentrations of advanced technology, putting every developed world at risk. "We've received a transmission," a communications officer announced. "It's from the Stellar Confederation, one of the empires that wasn't affected by the cascade. They're declaring war on Earth." The message was played for the command staff. The Confederation claimed that humanity had unleashed a weapon that threatened the entire galaxy. They demanded Earth's immediate surrender and the handover of all quantum technology. Otherwise, they would eliminate the human threat. Walker's expression hardened. They're not wrong about the threat. But surrender isn't an option. How long until their fleet arrives? 4 days at their current speed, General Thompson replied. But that's not our biggest problem. Look at this. She gestured to a new set of data streaming in. The void zones are changing course. They're moving toward Earth. Dr. Reed's team had been working around the clock to understand the phenomenon. The quantum cascade didn't just destroy their technology, it created a sort of hungry space. These void zones are drawn to the same quantum signatures we use to target the Dominion. And Earth's defenses are full of that technology. The implications were clear. Humanity had created a weapon that could destroy the universe itself, and now it was coming for its creators. Walker organized an emergency meeting with Earth's greatest scientists. "We need options. How do we stop these void zones?" Dr. Reed presented a radical theory. "The void zones operate on quantum principles we barely understand. But they're attracted to specific energy signatures. If we could create a powerful enough quantum beacon, we could lure them away from populated systems," Walker finished. "But where would we lead them?" "The Galactic core," Dr. Reed said. "It's the only place massive enough to contain them. But someone would have to pilot the beacon ship. And it would be a one-way trip." As they debated the plan, another crisis emerged. The Stellar Confederation wasn't coming alone. They had united with 3 other unaffected empires, forming the largest military alliance the galaxy had ever seen. Earth now faced 2 extinction-level threats, the void zones they had created, and an alliance of advanced civilizations determined to prevent them from ever using quantum weapons again. Walker looked at the tactical display, watching both threats approach their world. They had defeated the Dominion through superior technology and desperate innovation. But this time, technology itself was their enemy. "Prepare evacuation protocols for all Earth colonies," he ordered. "And get me every pilot with experience in quantum mechanics. We're going to need volunteers for the beacon mission." As the void zones crept closer and the alien fleet approached, humanity faced a terrible choice: risk the complete destruction of spacetime itself, or face annihilation at the hands of species who now feared them more than they had ever feared the Dominion. The race to save the galaxy had begun. The quantum beacon ship was ready in 36 hours, a testament to human engineering and desperation. Named the Last Light, it was humanity's final hope for containing the void zones that threatened to consume the galaxy. Captain Walker stood in the ship's command center, reviewing the mission parameters with the volunteer crew. "The math is simple," he said, looking at each of them. "We have 2 days before the Stellar Confederation's fleet arrives, and 3 days before the void zones reach Earth. We need to draw them away before either happens." Dr. Reed made final adjustments to the quantum beacon, a device that pulsed with enough energy to attract every void zone within 1,000 light-years. "The beacon will create a quantum signature so powerful that the void zones won't be able to resist it. But..." She paused, "the ship's hull won't last long once they start converging on us." The mission was clear: pilot the Last Light toward the Galactic core, drawing the void zones away from populated space. The ship would need to stay ahead of the anomalies long enough to reach the massive black hole at the galaxy's center, the only thing powerful enough to contain them. General Thompson's voice came through the command channel. "We've got movement from the Confederation fleet. They're accelerating. New arrival time, 36 hours. They must have detected what we're trying to do," Walker said. "They think we're building another weapon." He turned to his crew. "We launch in 1 hour. Anyone who wants to back out, now's the time." Not a single crew member moved. The launch was conducted in silence. As the last light rose through Earth's atmosphere, humanity held its breath. Everything depended on this mission's success. The quantum beacon activated as soon as they cleared the solar system. The effect was immediate and terrifying. Void zones throughout the sector began moving, drawn to the powerful quantum signature like moths to a flame. "It's working," Dr. Reed announced, monitoring the sensors. "The void zones are following us." But she pointed to a disturbing reading. "They're moving faster than we calculated. We're going to run out of fuel before we reach the core." Walker had anticipated this possibility. "Deploy the emergency protocols." Throughout the ship, crews began dismantling non-essential systems, feeding them into the quantum drive. Every piece of advanced technology they sacrificed gave them a little more speed, a little more distance. But the void zones were gaining. Then came the message they'd been dreading. The Confederation fleet had detected their mission and split into 2 groups. One continued toward Earth, while the other moved to intercept the last light. "They think we're trying to weaponize the void zones," Walker realized. "They're going to try to stop us before we reach the core." The situation seemed impossible. They were being chased by physics-defying anomalies that could unmake the universe, hunted by an alien fleet that thought they were the greatest threat to galactic peace, and running out of fuel light-years from their destination. That's when Dr. Reed made a discovery that changed everything. "The void zones," she said, staring at her readings in disbelief. "They're not just destroying space-time. They're rewriting it. Creating new laws of physics." "How does that help us?" Walker asked. "Because if we can understand those new laws," she replied, her mind racing with possibilities, "we might be able to use them. The void zones aren't just following us anymore. They're teaching us how to break the rules of the universe itself." As the last light raced toward the galactic core, pursued by both the void zones and the Confederation fleet, humanity prepared to attempt something never before imagined. They would learn to master the chaos they had created, or watch reality itself unravel around them. The final battle for existence itself was about to begin. With the void zones closing in and the Confederation fleet approaching, the Last Light's crew made their final stand at the edge of the galactic core. Dr. Reed worked frantically, studying the new physics emerging from the void zones, while Captain Walker prepared for their last desperate gambit. "The void zones aren't just destroying reality," Dr. Reed announced, her eyes wide with realization. "They're creating a new form of space-time. One that operates on completely different rules." She pointed to her readings. "And those rules, they're beautiful." Walker looked at the swirling chaos surrounding their ship. "Can we use it?" "Better," she replied. "We can become it." The plan was insane, but they were out of options. Instead of fighting the void zones or running from them, they would embrace them. Dr. Reed had discovered that the new physics being created wasn't random, it was an evolution of spacetime itself. "Redirect all power to the quantum beacon," Walker ordered. Full spectrum broadcast. The last light began pulsing with energy, not just attracting the void zones now, but synchronizing with them. The ship's hull started to shimmer as reality itself bent around them. That's when the Confederation fleet arrived. "Final warning," the alien commander transmitted. "Power down your weapons or be destroyed. We will not allow you to unmake the universe. Walker's response was simple: watch us remake it instead. Dr. Reed activated the modified quantum beacon. Instead of fighting against the void zones, they merged with them. The last light became a nexus point where old physics met new, where destruction gave birth to creation. The void zones converged on their position, but instead of destroying the ship, they began to transform it. The last light became something else, a bridge between what was and what could be. Send the message to Earth, Walker commanded. Tell them to activate all remaining quantum technology. Full power. Across human space, every quantum device activated simultaneously. The void zones responded, rushing toward these points of energy. But now, instead of destroying, they were transforming. The Confederation fleet watched in awe as reality itself shifted around them. Where there had been chaos, new order emerged. The void zones weren't erasing existence, they were upgrading it. This is what humanity does, Walker transmitted to the alien fleet. We don't just survive. We adapt. We evolve. And we bring everyone with us. The transformation spread across the galaxy. Worlds that had lost their technology didn't revert to their old systems, they ascended to something new. The quantum cascade that had threatened to destroy everything instead became the foundation for a new era of existence. Dr. Reed's voice was filled with wonder as she monitored the changes. The void zones, they were never a weapon. They were a test. The universe itself was waiting to see if any species could understand the new physics instead of just running from it. The Confederation fleet stood down as they realized the truth. Humanity hadn't brought destruction to the galaxy, they had forced its evolution. The very weapon that had seemed to destroy technology had instead opened the door to understanding physics that no species had even imagined possible. The Last Light's crew watched as the final void zones merged with their ship, completing the transformation. They had become something new, not quite human anymore, but pioneers of a new form of existence. Send the final message, Walker ordered, watching as their ship began to glow with possibilities. To all species in the galaxy, humanity transmitted their discovery, the equations for the new physics, the understanding of the transformed spacetime, and an invitation to join them in what came next. The Dominion had declared war, expecting an easy victory over a primitive species. Instead, they had triggered an evolution that transformed the entire galaxy. Humanity's response hadn't just been about survival or victory, it had been about transcendence. And in the transformed space around the galactic core, the last light became a beacon of something greater than war or peace, the first light of a new universe, born from humanity's refusal to accept destruction as the end.